Welcome everyone, and good afternoon. There's a few seats up here if anybody wants to grab a seat, comfortable, a nice seat. We're all friends here, so nobody will bite, so step up and have a seat. My name is Tom Thurston. I'm the Director of Capital Development, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you the artistic force behind this exhibition, Glimpses of the Grasslands, the Artistic Vision of Colin Starkevich. Colin is a native Edmontonian who began painting at the ripe age of 16. He now has a diploma in wildlife fishery conservation, a Bachelor of Science majoring in environmental sciences. He is a youth ambassador for the international Get to Know Your Wild Neighbors program, and he was personally invited by master wildlife artist Robert Bateman to attend his Master's Artist Seminar in 2010. He was selected a finalist in the International 2013 Artist Competition sponsored by the Artist magazine, competing in the professional division. He has been featured extensively in the International Southwest Art magazine, and he is now represented by the Gallery on Main in Lacombe, Alberta. So I'd like you to welcome and extend a warm greeting to Colin Starkevich. Colin.
Hey everyone, so I just want to start off by thanking all of you for joining us this afternoon and celebrating this event with us to celebrate the premier exhibition of what I call the Grasslands series. It's been a dream of mine for a fair number of years now to have this exhibition at this museum right here, so I couldn't be more honored to be having this exhibition at this time. I'll start off by talking, I guess, a little bit about how the series all began. So, in my childhood, I was on a few trips to the Grasslands region of the province on a few brief occasions, and I felt quite drawn to the landscape then, and I always wanted to return to this region in my future and experience it and explore it my own way, on my own clock. As I got older, I started to forget about it a little bit, and then it wasn't until 2009 when I was attending Lakeland College, earning a diploma in wildlife conservation in a small eastern Alberta town, when we were speaking about all the different natural regions and the wildlife within them in Alberta, from the mountains region, the boreal forest, the aspen parkland, and of course the grasslands. And I was intrigued almost instantly at the uniqueness of what we were learning about that existed in the grasslands and all the unique wildlife that seemed to exist in the grasslands right here in Alberta. And it kind of brought back old memories to life again, and I made it a point now to go explore this land on my own in the near future. And later on, that summer of 2009, that's exactly what I did when me and a very good friend of mine packed what we could into my small SUV and headed to the southeastern portion of Alberta, where we experienced the natural grasslands firsthand. And even though it was just a brief 2 to 3 day trip, I know from the very first day of this trip that I wanted to paint this land and its wild inhabitants well into my future. And it's now 6 years later, and I feel the exact same way, and I couldn't be more happy about it. I'm not too sure exactly what it was about the land. I think it was a combination of the wide open plains, the deep cut coulees, the smell of the sagebrush in the air, the wind, the constant trill of the crickets always ringing in our ears in the background in the summer months, the unique variety and different wild species that existed in this land, such as the pronghorn antelope, the prairie rattlesnake, the ferruginous hawk, just to name a few. There are many, many more. And from that point forward, I started painting the grasslands. During the same summer is when I started to visit this very museum quite frequently, as I had an upcoming class in ornithology that September, and ornithology is birds. So we had an upcoming class all about birds. And one of the professors from that college, who I couldn't be more happy that he is here now to celebrate this event with us, he referred the class to stop by the Royal Alberta Museum at one point or another in the summer if we were around the Edmonton area, as they have a great collection of mounted specimens of the bird species in Alberta, and it would help us with our identification skills and give us a bit of an edge when it came September to be prepared for the class. So me being an Edmontonian and living in Edmonton that summer, that's exactly what I did, and I gave myself my own personal tour of the Wild Alberta Gallery and even did a couple sketches of some of the birds in the display cases. And again, I was drawn to the grassland wildlife that were in the displays and the beautiful grassland paintings that are in the display cases, as well as all the information there was about the grasslands. And I started to daydream while I was here how great it would be to one day have an exhibition such as this in the museum to showcase what I see in the grasslands and share my passion for the grasslands in the future. And here we are, and I couldn't be more happy because of that. Some of my goals with this series that I want to achieve with my artwork in the future are to raise the awareness and the consciousness of our country's grasslands, including the grasslands right here in Alberta, as I feel many people are quite unaware or unfamiliar of the grasslands that we have, which leave it more vulnerable to destruction and less sought after when it comes to the conservation and protection of it for our future generations. So I'm hoping that through my artwork and through exhibitions such as this, people will become aware of what we have in our own province and become more aware of the grasslands and be more willing to do what they can as well to contribute to the protection of this region well into the future. I also want to use my artwork to celebrate what we do have and what we still have remaining of the grasslands, as I feel a lot of times in the news and media when it comes to environmental issues or conservation issues, it's a lot of doom and gloom stories. And don't get me wrong, the grasslands can be a very easy target for a doom and gloom story, as the majority of the native grasslands are now lost due to agricultural development, industrial development, and urbanization, things that we all need as humans to survive. However, there are still vast tracts of native grasslands that still exist right here in Alberta that stretch as far as the eye can see, full of biodiversity, and I believe that's because of great conservation efforts in the past and because of a lot of other people in this world with great passions and ambitions to work together collaboratively to keep what we still have intact. And there's a number of conservation organizations out there. I know I can't list them all, but just to list a few that I'm familiar with, there's the Canadian Wildlife Federation, the Canadian Wildlife Service, Ducks Unlimited Canada, the Nature Conservancy of Canada, Nature Alberta, and Alberta's very own Alberta Conservation Association, which, by the way, has a very unique program called the Multiple Species at Risk Program, which deals a lot with species at risk in Alberta's grasslands. And I feel they're doing a terrific job, as well as many of the landowners and ranchers living in the grasslands of Alberta who work together with their biologists and their team to conserve and protect our grasslands well into the future. And over the past 2 years or so, I started to realize a much bigger vision I want to achieve with my artwork well into the future. And to me, it truly goes above and beyond the grasslands region in general. And that is, I'm hoping over time I can use my artwork to reach out to and inspire hopefully millions of people really across the world to find their unique abilities and their deepest passions in life, and to put the two together to make a very positive difference in our natural world in a way that only they can do, as I believe there are many, many brilliant minds and brilliant people out there with great passions and great talents and great ideas which can really do wonders for our world. And all they need, including myself, a lot of times is just that little bit of inspiration to keep us all going. And I'm hoping that my artwork in exhibitions such as this can act as that source of inspiration to really push people to their best potential. And I know for myself over the years I've had a lot of support and encouragement from a lot of people, organizations, and places over the years to keep me going in my artwork and my visions as well. One of the biggest organizations that I've been a part of for many years and has provided me with a great sense of encouragement and motivation to keep moving forward with my artwork has been the International Get to Know Your Wild Neighbors program, which I have been a part of since 2007. And it is a program which is devoted to connecting youth with nature and celebrating nature through the arts and giving youth a place to land, so to say, to network with other like-minded youth and adults from across the world now to share our passions and ideas and talents and to work together to start putting these ideas into actions and start making that positive difference in our world. And I'm so grateful to be a part of that program, and I feel they're doing great things, and they seem to have bigger and better opportunities for young people coming out every year, including this year. Another organization which I have very recently teamed up with is another international organization called Coalition Wild, which again serves as a place to land for young people all over the world to network with each other and share our ideas and current projects of what we are doing to keep our wild places in the world wild well into the future. And I believe that it's organizations such as this where a lot of people with passion and ambition come together to work together to make things happen and conserve our wild places well into the future. For this exhibition specifically, I just paint the pictures, but there's been a whole lot of people who have been working very hard over the past few months to make it all happen. And I don't want to start listing off names because I know I'll forget a few people, I'll miss a few people, but I want to thank absolutely everyone at the Royal Alberta Museum and the design team, the curators, the people on the communication side, the people on the social media side for working hard and working together and making this exhibition all happen, as I think it's a really great job. And I want to say a very special thank you to you, Hannah, Aaron, the head curator of feature exhibitions, for taking the time to meet with me just a little over a year ago when I came to speak to you a little bit about my story and came to you with some paintings wrapped up in pillowcases in my back seat and a dream in my heart. And I thank you so much for listening to my story and really taking a chance on me and giving me an opportunity to make one of my dreams come true. It's been a real pleasure working with you the past year or so, and I feel we've done a great job, and I really look forward to what the future holds for the Grasslands series. I want to thank my framers from Zorzo's Framing here in Edmonton, who have done a terrific job at framing the vast majority of the pieces in this exhibition. I know I had them working day and night pretty much to get the pieces framed on time for that exhibition to open, so I thank you guys so much. I feel you guys done a terrific job, and I want to thank all the people and that have been kind of in my corner over the past few years, always just rooting me on and sharing the enthusiasm and the wisdom with me to keep going forward, and that is such as professors from colleges, great friends, Carl and Eva from the Strathcona Raptor Shelter, and I want to thank my parents, of course, for putting up with me the past few years when I decided to want to do nothing but paint with my time and giving me a place to stay this past winter to just focus on preparing for this exhibition. And I really have to give and say, and I think we all owe a huge thank you to really the one person who has been in my corner and on my side and encouraging me right from the very start of my artistic journey. She has been there through the good and the bad and has always been there to provide me with her wisdom and encourage me and motivate me when I needed most at times, and has been there pretty much every step of the way in my artistic journey. She has been a very great friend to me, as well as a very, very great mentor, not only in my artistic journey, but as well as in my life. And that is the person who originally taught me how to paint with oils almost 10 years ago when I was 16 and in her drawing class, and that is no one other than my high school art teacher, Dr. Brenda Savella, who I refer to as Miss Savella. So I thank you so much for all of your help. We've came a very long way since the apple painting at lunchtime, and I look forward to what the future holds. And I know that this year really is just the start for me and the start for the Grasslands series, as I believe this is just the dawning of the Grasslands series, and I couldn't be more happy to celebrate it here. And I know I will be painting the Grasslands well into the future, as I feel I'm just scratching the surface of what the Grasslands has to offer. And I have a lot to learn yet about this region, and a whole lot left to paint, which I'm looking forward to every bit of it. And I thank you guys all again for coming out and joining me this afternoon and again celebrating this event. And I now welcome you to the premiere exhibition of the Grasslands series and glimpses of the Grasslands. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Colin. It's truly a delight to have you and everybody here today, so that the museum could act as your platform, your portal to get your story out, to tell a more complete story of Alberta. So thank you very much for that. Also, a quick shout out to the Friends of the Royal Alberta Museum. I think Peggy Ferguson-Pell's here, and thank you to our Friends Board and our executives for their unwavering support for the museum. Thank you for everything you do. And also special thanks to the museum exhibit team for yet another stellar design and installation. Fantastic job, everybody. And to conclude, we'd certainly like everybody here to mingle and walk through the exhibit, as well as join Colin and myself for some light refreshments outside. Thank you very much.